Welcome to Dave Boy's Home Cooking. This week it's going to be pot roast since it's wintertime. Pot roast is probably the first thing I ever learned to cook. I mean, what you would call real cooking. You know, not just throwing a steak on a grill or something. I've done it so many ways it's unbelievable. Pot roast is basically a braise, and it's that means it's a big old hunk of beast partially submerged in a braising liquid and then cooked for a long time to make it falling apart tender. I've used red wine, white wine, ginger ale, Dr. Pepper, Coke, beer, water, chicken stock, mushroom stock, beef stock. I've even used orange juice as the braising liquid, and that was wonderful. I can tell you a little secret about that too. But first, we've got a lot of prep to do, so let's get to the prep. The key to any great cooking is doing the prep beforehand. Having everything lined up and ready to go, chopped, diced, sliced, peeled, whatever needs to be done, having that ready to go before you start cooking. One of the things I'll need for the pot roast is a mirepoix, which is 2 parts onion, 1 part carrot, 1 part celery. I've already chopped the carrot and celery. I'm going to do the onion. I wanted to show you. We're just going to take the top of the onion off and then cut through the root. I'm going to take that first layer, that first leaf, completely off. That'll take care of all the paper. You won't have to worry about that. I'm going to do this what I call the no-tear method of disassembling an onion. And that is just like this. Cut planks, slats. Then you can come right through it, and it's chopped perfectly. And be careful, especially when you're dealing with a high-end knife like I do. Boy, you can take your arm off with this thing. So you really want to be careful that you don't do that. There you go. That's the no-tear method. Another key component to a great pot roast is a great gravy. And I make a really good one. I'm going to caramelize an onion to add to it. I'm also going to saute some mushrooms and make a great mushroom caramelized onion gravy out of the juices in the pan that the meat cooked in. Then at the last minute I'll actually add fresh basil, and the gravy will be just great. Anyway, I wanted to run you through caramelizing an onion. And you can see now we're starting to take on a little color. This is after about 15 minutes. You can also see how it's cooked down quite a bit. The whole bottom of that pan was full of onion, and it's reduced itself down quite a bit, cooked down quite a bit. And we're starting to take a little color. A lot of people would stop right here, but I like a lot more color on my onion, a lot more caramelization. So we're going to go another 15 minutes at least. Yeah, I'm going to call it a day on the onion. You can kind of see what I've done here. I've scooted all the onion over to one end of the pan and then taken it partially off the heat to tilt it to get all the oil away from the onion. Let it drain down. I've left the burner on actually, so the oil doesn't begin to cool and congeal, so it can continue to flow to the other end of the pan. Try to get as much of that out of there as I can. You know, I know that the traditional pot roast is done with potatoes and carrots and celery and all sorts of stuff in the pot with the roast. I don't do it like that. Today we're going to do it my favorite way to do it. I cook all of the other vegetables on top of the stove because I want to do special things with them. I don't want them to just be plain Jane vanilla. I'm going to do an orange ginger glaze for the carrots, a little mashed potatoes that I'll put through a ricer to make them extra smooth and creamy, with some Parmigiano Reggiano, some snap peas. I'm going to do some snap peas with it. That's the other veggie. And the gravy is going to be a caramelized onion, mushroom, basil gravy. It's going to be just fantastic. Well, here's our big old hunk of beast. I have seasoned it up with salt and pepper. I use kosher salt. And here's a tip for you. If a recipe calls for kosher salt, and you don't have kosher salt, you only have table salt, cut way back on the salt. Table salt is much finer, so a tablespoon of table salt, say that real fast, is more salt than kosher salt. Okay, we're going to brown the roast off. That's 2 or 3 minutes per side all the way around, top, bottom, sides, everywhere. Try to get a little bit of color on it. Then we'll remove it, we'll put in the mirepoix, get it soft, and put the roast right on top of that and add our braising liquid, which will be a combination of red wine and mushroom broth. Well, the roast is browned off, and now we're starting on the mirepoix. We just want to soften up these vegetables. It's 2 parts onion, 1 part carrot, 1 part celery. I added a bunch of garlic and a little bit of dried thyme. We just want to soften up those vegetables, and then the meat will be ready to go on top. And we're ready for the oven. So, clamp the lid on it, and off to the oven we're going to go. Well, we're checking it at the almost 2-hour mark, and this thing is nowhere near ready. The way we can tell, try to pierce it with a fork, and there's quite a bit of resistance yet, so that's got a ways to go. Yeah, I've got some butter and cream warming up on the stove for the potatoes, the mashed potatoes. You want your butter and cream that you're going to use to cream the potatoes to be hot. You want to add hot butter and cream to hot potatoes. It'll make them much creamier and much smoother. Over here, we've got our carrots. Now, I've got them simmering in orange juice, butter, and brown sugar. I added a little bit of celery. I actually peeled the celery so I could get the strings out of it. And yeah, I just added the celery for fun. We'll toss that with the orange glaze, along with these sugar snap peas. We're going to save a little bit of the orange glaze for those as well. I've got this in water, hoisin sauce, and dark sesame oil. That's what they'll cook in. There's our carrots dressed and ready to go. There's my Yukon Gold potatoes that I just cooked. I just cut them up that size and put them in boiling salted water, well, cold salted water, and then brought it to a boil. You want to let them steam like this so that you get a lot of the moisture out of them. If you try to cream them right now and mash them up, they'll be watery. All that steam escaping that you see there is moisture that won't be in the potatoes. If you just wait a little while, just let them steam, 4 or 5 minutes, and then you can go ahead and mash and cream them. There's our sugar snap peas with an orange ginger glaze. And there's our pot roast, perfectly tender, browned, just wonderful. With a lot of liquid in the bottom of that pan that's going to make a great gravy. And there's our plate. Pot roast, mashed potatoes, orange glazed carrots, and orange glazed sugar snap peas. Let's put a little gravy on. Well, that's my Sunday dinner, pot roast. The kitchen's a mess, but the food is great. I know it's too late for you this week, but who's coming to dinner next week?